Harper Audio presents Tales from a Young Vet by Joe Hardy and Caro Handley, read by Emily Lucienne. Chapter 1. Critical Care and the Night Shift.
Can you help her, please? She means the world to me. I don't know what I'd do without Misty.
Tears filled the eyes of the elderly woman on the other side of the consultation table as she looked down at the small white ball of fur in her arms. I took a deep breath.
Pop her on the table and let's have a quick look.
Misty was a little terrier, and she was clearly feeling pretty ill. She lay on her side on the table in front of me, whimpering and panting frantically. Terriers can be real rascals, full of energy, always keeping their owners on their toes, but poor Misty was obviously in a bad way. I was doing my best to sound confident, but inside I was quaking. It was my first 12-hour shift in emergency critical care, the equivalent of accident and emergency for pets, at the world-famous Queen Mother Hospital for Animals, and it was my job to assess each new case as it came in and to judge whether the animal could wait for attention or needed to be rushed straight into the emergency room, or ER, for treatment. This was crunch time. As a fourth-year vet student, I'd done all the theory, attended endless lectures, written papers and taken exams. In fact, just about everything except take charge of real live animals. Now, I, together with the other 250 students in my year at the Royal Veterinary College, was starting the final year of training. A whirlwind of back-to-back work placements known as rotations, in which we'd be taking all that we'd learned in the classroom and putting it to the test in practices, farms, zoos, and animal hospitals. We'd be covering everything from surgery to radiology to anesthesia and tackling a whole range of life-saving procedures for the first time. Each of our 36 or so placements would be assessed. We couldn't afford to fail a single one. I'd started out feeling a mixture of excitement and terror, anticipation and blind panic. What if I blew it, made a wrong diagnosis, failed to spot something vital, or just froze? Was I really cut out to be a vet, or had I been fooling myself? It was time to find out. So here I was, in emergency critical care, just 3 weeks into rotations, in at the deep end, dealing with a non-stop queue of very sick animals with very worried owners, and having to make the vital first-stage triage assessments on my own. That morning, I'd got my kit ready, the unwritten vet uniform of chinos, flat pumps, and checked shirt. Over that went the student's purple scrub top with my name stitched onto the top left side, plus a stethoscope round my neck, thermometer, scissors, notepad, and pens, lots, shoved in my pockets. And a fob watch, because as vets we had to keep our arms below the elbow bare of clothing or jewellery. Knowing that I'd be on the front line of emergency animal care had kept me awake for a good part of the night. So far, we'd had a couple of easy weeks, learning how to take diagnostic images and spending time in dermatology. But now, along with the 4 other trainee vets in my rotation group, I would be facing a continuous stream of animals, all needing a split-second diagnosis. Animals can't tell you what they're feeling, so all a vet can do is look at the presenting symptoms, the animal's condition and its history, and put everything together to try to work out what's going on. I looked down at Misty, trying to remember my list of vital checks and questions. A 3-year-old West Highland Terrier. She was clearly in distress. Her temperature was high and her heart was racing. Her face looked swollen, and her breathing was becoming ever more laboured. Her owner, Mrs. Stevens, was clearly worried and distressed. I could see that Misty meant the world to her. In a shaky voice, she explained that she had taken Misty to the park a few hours earlier.
"It was such a nice day," she said, her voice wobbling with emotion. "The sun was out, so we went for a walk and stopped for a bit. I sat on a bench and Misty was chasing around in the flower bed. Then she yelped. I think she might have been
Sample complete. Ready to continue?